YouTube, it's Crystal Ann Compton. Ooh, we got the exposure going. I just wanted to hop on because I have some time before my Toastmasters meeting, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the content that I have been putting up, namely the last couple of things that I put up, not the angel thing, but on manifestation. Hi, Rebecca. I just want to visit with you guys because I am so much more active, unfortunately and fortunately, in my online group, which is on Facebook called the Lightworkers Lab, which you're welcome to join. But I want to be back. I want to be back with YouTube more, and so I'm trying to make a point to do that. Hey, Jessica Potter, how you doing? Hey, David Potts, hello. I'm doing well. I have a few minutes before I go into my Toastmasters meeting, and I just wanted to go over the breakdown of how manifestation works. I put up a video, I think it was 4 or 5 days ago, but I want to kind of be a little more clear about this, and I've also talked about this in a recent podcast, so check it out if you haven't. But essentially, this is the way that manifestation works. Manifestation comes from the consciousness. We are the consciousness. Hey, you can say consciousness is the soul. It is the essence of who it is that we are. And we are consciousness in this particular reality. But the consciousness is actually made up of two different aspects. And the first aspect of consciousness is the conscious, which is the thinking mind. It is that aspect of us that has ideas, that runs those narratives and runs those scripts. It's that aspect of us that works affirmations and uses tools and techniques like that, and also that thinks on intentions. That is the conscious aspect of, hey Clarissa, of consciousness. But there's also the subconscious. The subconscious is that aspect we would call female. And what the subconscious does is it takes the will of the conscious, which is the male aspect, and it animates it, or it creates it. And so what the thinking man thinks is ultimately created through the subconscious, which is the womb of creation. And it's that aspect of us that is truly divine and truly hooked into divine creation energy. Divine creation energy is just another way to say source. It's another way to say creator. And so the subconscious is the animator of that which we think. However, it's not just conscious and subconscious that leads to manifestation. And this, I think, is where people tend to trip up because they say, well, I've been doing all of these affirmations. I've been listening to all the Esther Hicks, and I've read The Secret, and I've got all the information, and I've been doing it, but nothing's happening. And so I must be doing it wrong, or the law of attraction must be, false. It's not false. The law of attraction is actually how things work. We call it the law of attraction. That's a trendy thing we've made up in the last couple of 20, 30 years or whatever. But it is actually an energetic principle that works. We emit a frequency at all times. Of course, we're made of energy. We're just energy that's moving around in a specific pattern, and that pattern is our vibration. It's like the song that our life makes. It's the song that our essence emits into the universe, and it is attractive. It is magnetic, and we always attract back to us or manifest into our lives conditions and experiences based on the quality of that vibration or of that song. So we are energy, and we are magnetic, and we are manifesting. And so law of attraction is an actual universal law. This is a principle. But what we forget is the vehicle that transmits the message from the conscious, which again is the male aspect of the consciousness or of the soul, to the subconscious. There has to be a channel between the two. There has to be a method of communication that transmits that which we want to manifest to the animator, the divine animator within us. And that vehicle is feeling. It's feeling. It's being of the energy of already being that. It's seeing to the end of that which you would like to create and finding ways for you to feel high vibration enough so that you can attract that, and you can also transmit what you have been thinking and intending in the mind. And the thing is, is your feeling doesn't have to actually be a representative of the affirmation. You don't have to say, well, I want to be a millionaire, and then conjure up some non-specific feeling of being a millionaire when you don't know what being a millionaire is. So that's hard. And again, we trip up here. Instead, all you really have to do is find ways in your life to be joyful, to be full of love, and to be connected to Source. And there's all kinds of different ways to do that. If you can get into the high vibration, and if you can be in that love energy, which is just another way of saying God energy or Source energy, and at the same time have a narrative, have an intention, have an affirmation, that's how we transmit the intention to the animator, which is the subconscious. It's through the feeling. It's the signal. It's like the cell phone call that we've got to make to put in our universal order. If we don't have the signal, if we can't make the call, well, then the subconscious doesn't receive it and animates based on anything else we're feeling. And that's another thing we all have to remember truly, is that we are always in the default position of creating. We're creating whether we're happy. We're creating whether we're sad, whether we're anxious or grief-stricken, whether we're joyful and playful. We're always creating from that space. The work of the human life is to be mindful of what you're creating. And it's easy for us to say that my feelings are as a result of what is happening in the world. I feel bad because of what I see happening in the world and in society and with people and with animals. I feel bad. It's harder for us to admit that it's the feelings that we harbor as a collective, as all of us together, that creates the reality. Nothing comes from without. It all starts from within. Who was I watching? I think it was Sadhguru, and he said, "Can you see me? Where am I?" And he asked the audience, "Point to me." And they all pointed to him. And he's like, "You've got it wrong. You're seeing based on the perception that is inward. The light comes through your eyes, through the retina, and you process it. Your brain filters it, but you experience me from the inside. And when you touch something, all of those feelings and sensations have to be filtered through your sense of touch. It is happening on the inward. Everything is actually happening on the inward. Nothing is happening to you. We are creating this reality. Now, this doesn't mean we don't have bad feelings. This doesn't mean we don't sometimes get sad or sometimes get upset. Of course we do, and that's okay. What it does mean, though, is that we learn to be disciplined in the way that we think. That we learn to be always training the mind and bringing the mind into submission to the will of the Spirit, that I am aspect of who it is that we are, that ought to be governing the types of lives that we're living. The mind should be reflecting to the best of our ability the will of the I am, the will of the Spirit. And if we can marry that with joy and the frequency or the cell phone call, the transmission to the subconscious, this is how we begin very quickly to start manifesting the kind of life that we truly want to live. Pay attention to your moods. It's not okay to indulge your bad mood. It's not okay to get into your car and drive to work and start flipping people off and getting all angry. You'll just start catching all the reds. You'll start cutting somebody else off. You'll start spreading the energy that originates from within you. Develop the discipline to snap yourself out of these moods, and that can be difficult. It can be, but it's possible. Here's what I recommend for those of you who say, well, how? I'm so pissed off. My husband left me, or this happened to me. I just got fired. I'm so depressed. How am I supposed to get out of that energy? First of all, have the intention. An intention is an energy. It's a thought. It's an aspect of the conscious, and it's powerful. So hold the intention. Where there is an intention, there is the possibility of it embedding and rooting in the consciousness and in the awareness. And what happens when something roots? When something roots, it has the potential to grow. What happens when it grows? It gets bigger. When it gets bigger, we now see more evidences of it in our life. So just have the intention to find a way out of the lower vibration. Spirit hears you. You're not alone in a vacuum in this universe. There is a God. I'm here to tell you, there is. God doesn't care what you call God, but there is a God. Have the intention, have the prayerful heart. to find your way out of the energy. And then what I would challenge you to do is make a list of maybe 5 or 10 things. These are things that make you smile when you do them. These are things that make you light up, and they don't have to be huge things. I made a list once and I put going to Prague on it, or going to Dublin. That's not possible every day of the week. So we want to look for possible things. Things that we can actually do very quickly to self-correct out of a lower vibration or a negative energy. Things like singing. Things like moving our body, dancing, drumming. Things like getting outside, taking your shoes off, standing in the grass in a sunbeam, and earthing. Earth energy is so high vibration, people. One thing I do is I get my Great Danes, I've got 3 of them, and I just love on them. I just play with them. I just let them, I'm with them. I allow their earth energy, which is so high vibration, to just get all over me, to saturate, and I absorb it. And in very short order, from just playing with my Great Danes, I get really happy. I also get happy gardening, getting outside, putting my hands in the dirt. I get happy making food for my family. There are just a few simple things that I know if I can get to quickly, I can self-correct. And the more I train myself, the more I have the discipline, the easier it has become for me to snap out of it, because I have a duty not just to myself, but to everybody else and to Gaia, to this planet, to be disciplined and bring that mind into submission. So again, to just conclude here, because I gotta go. We are the consciousness having this experience. But the consciousness is of 2 minds, really, the male and the female. The male is the conscious, the thinker, and the female is the womb of creation. It's the animator. It's that aspect that brings it into materiality or into our reality. The conscious speaks to the subconscious, and the subconscious, like a lover would, like a wife would, rises up to the conscious aspect and says, yes, I want to give birth to that. I will create that, but only if she receives the transmission through the vehicle of a similar feeling. So if you know what you want to create for yourself, learn how to get into that high vibration love, learn how to harness and to conjure the energy of already being that. Then the subconscious rises, receives it, and animates it. That's how it works. It just is. That's how it worked when God created the universe. That's how it worked. God was of a mind. He said, or she said, I seek to experience myself. I seek to create this experience for myself and then animate myself within it in all these different layers. And the subconscious aspect of the creator, the animator force, said, it is so, it is done. And here we are, little aspects of God in our own lives. Jesus Christ said, you are all gods. What do you think he's talking about? What do you think Christ is saying when he says, greater things than I do can you do? If you just had the faith of a mustard seed, hello, you could do whatever you want. You could say to that mountain, jump into the sea, and it would. But you don't have the faith. You don't know how it works. Well, now you know how it works. That's the manifestation formula. I've seen it work in my life, and I understand it does take discipline and training, but it's possible. It's possible. So I wanted to get up and share that with you all. Much love, YouTube. I also want to invite all of you, any of you who'd like to be part of a spiritual community online of integrity, a dynamic community. We got something going on almost every night of the week. We've got teachers, we've got readers, we've got healers offering their services. It is free to members. The only thing we ask is just check yourself before you wreck yourself. Don't come in and troll, because you'll be out very quickly. We are building a community of people who are moving in the direction of their calling. And if you want to be a part of it, go to Facebook. Just type in the search bar, The Lightworkers Lab. I think we have about 950 people. Ask to join. You'll be asked one question, answer it, and we will let you in. And I hope to see you there. Much love to everybody. Bye-bye.